Taylor, thanks for coming. Quick question as we get going here. Obviously, first year at the program, was the main need that Coach Diebler had just another person with the last name of Battle, and you just kind of fit the bill there to fill in for Jameson, or what brought you to Columbus and Ohio State?
No, I don't think it was the battle connection. Uh, I've known Coach Diva for a long time. I got some really good friends. Evan Turner being one of my best friends in life. So I've had some connections to Ohio State, the program. Actually, when I was in college, going into my senior year, I spent the whole summer here training with Evan. I played with Carmen's crew, so I'm kind of like an adopted son to some sort. Which is crazy saying that I went to Penn State, and you know how those football games are between those two universities. So, uh, but yeah, man, I just a lot of connections to the university. Obviously I know what the brand of Ohio State is. Obviously, I believe in Coach Diebler and the opportunity that he has and the things that I think we can accomplish as a staff and team. So, I was just very excited about the opportunity. Obviously, I had a conversation with Coach Diebler and, with my wife and family, and we just thought that, coming here was just a great opportunity for us. And hopefully it works out and we can go and do great things.
Yeah, and you obviously had a very decorated career at Penn State, one of the most ever in that program's history. You got a chance to play professionally as well, and then you go to Penn State, Northwestern, now Ohio State. You obviously know the Big Ten very, very well at this point. But what was it about the connection to Ohio State and Jake Diebler and things like that that made the timing right? Because I know that every single coach in America, most likely, as long as you're good, you're going to get calls every single spring and summer. People are going to be asking about, hey, how are things going there? Would you be open to leaving? So, what made the timing right in terms of coming to Ohio State for this upcoming season?
I just think, honestly, just part of it was just, the 2 years that we had in Northwestern, the two best years in program history. Obviously, it was just a great time. And, I'm very grateful to Chris Cons and those guys and my time at Northwestern. And my brother was walking out the door. So I think it kind of aligned with, me wanting to continue my career, to continue to grow and ultimately become a head coach. And I think coming to a place like Ohio State, if we can accomplish the things that I plan that we will, as far as winning and winning at a high level, competing for Big Ten championships, making deep runs in the NCAA tournament. I just believe that, Coach Diva is going to help us do those things. And, if the old adage, like, we all eat if, we do what we're supposed to do. So, that's what I'm here for, to help in any way I can, help develop these guys, help coach, help the rest of the staff. And like I said, hopefully we can just have a great season, and do great things, in my time here.
And one thing, you mentioned Boo leaving, Chase Audition, another great player to go through Northwestern, having what I would say is a pretty okay pulse on the fan base. The initial reaction was, this is great because Taylor's going to help develop the guards here at Ohio State. Obviously, you have a bunch of different hats you're wearing, but what are some primary objectives that you've got heading into the season at Ohio State in your role?
Yeah, basically whatever coach asked me to do, right? But obviously player development is big. I'm still young as far as coaching goes, so I'm still able to get out there on the court and I wouldn't say compete with the guys because I'm not good enough, but still kind of show them, right? Versus just kind of telling them. So I've had a great. It's been a great summer, great 2 months for me. Working on court with Bruce and Junie Mobley and some of the other guards, Jason before his injury, E.T., all the guards, Micah Parrish. But like the other coaches, they all do a great job as well. But for me, just being young, trying to develop these guys, obviously having played in the Big Ten, kind of walking the walk that they're going through. Just being a voice, just being someone they could talk to, bounce ideas off. Obviously that's important. When you're trying to navigate a season, I think it's helpful when someone's kind of done that and been there and, kind of walked in your exact shoes. So, I think I bring that, and I think that's been good so far this summer. I look forward to, continuing to do that.
Yeah, and the Big Ten. You played in the Big Ten. You've coached 100% of your roles have been in the Big Ten, and I would doubt, I don't know off the top of my head, but I doubt that there's another coach with your type of profile in the conference. So with the conference expansion upcoming and things like that, what kind of unique perspective would you say that you have maybe over other coaches knowing this conference so well?
Yeah, I would like to say I know it so well, having played here 4 years and now entering my fifth year of coaching in it. Like you said, at three different universities now, all in a 10. The problem is it just keeps expanding, so there's so many teams that I don't know about. But the teams that have been here, over the, that have been here, obviously, the coaches that are tenured and been here when I was a player and still coaching now, and uh, just kind of knowing what the league is like, the physicality of it, what to expect. I don't want to pretend I'm an expert, obviously, because there's a lot of great coaches, but just haven't been around it. Kind of understanding what it takes to win. Obviously being physically tough enough, mentally tough enough to compete day in and day out. You watch these games all year long; they always come down to the wire somehow, some way. So just kind of have been in through some wars. I think that, within our staff, some of the guys are unfamiliar with our league. Obviously, just being able to, share ideas with those guys and inform them on kind of what people like to do, and, be just kind of sounding board to some people and, that are new. So uh, I'm super excited to be here, man, and looking forward to, like you said, to continue to share my knowledge, about the league and, with the rest of the staff. So looking forward to it.
On the topic of the Big Ten expansion, you've got four new schools coming in from the other side of the country. Let me actually first ask you, as a coaching staff or as a college basketball purist, whatever role you want to take on to answer this question, do you like the expanded Big Ten and the way that college athletics is moving, or is that way too much of a loaded question for a podcast like this?
No, I'm excited about the expansion, the teams joining, right? Like, obviously I loved our league how it was. When I played in it, Nebraska, Maryland, uh, and Rutgers wasn't in the league, right? So now I'm coaching it. Those teams have been in it. And now we bring the ones from out west. So I think it's an exciting time, right? Like we're literally coast to coast. You go from Rutgers, I guess, all the way out to California, with USC and UCLA and those guys. So I just think that, our brand of the Big Ten is just getting better, right? It's you get a, like, almost like a pro field going, from coast to coast with it. And I just think our league has been the best league in college basketball for a long time, and now we've added four great schools to it, and I think it's just going to continue to get better and better. I think it brings some new blood, some new excitement, some new fans. Obviously those teams provide their own fans, but for place like us, Ohio State, we travel to LA. I'm sure we got a ton of alumni over there where, they get to see us in person, where they don't have to come to Columbus. So I think that's exciting, obviously, for the sport. I think for players, I think it's really cool that they get to, play all these other teams that they probably wouldn't unless it was some type of MTE or NCAA tournament or something like that. So I think it's in a great spot. And, as a coach, I'm just really excited to, go see those venues. I've never been to any of those. I think off the top of my head, I don't believe I've seen them. So I think it'll be cool just to, witness those atmospheres and compete against those guys.
Have you, as a coaching staff, talked about how are we going to strategize playing against these four new schools and maybe doing some extra scouting on them? Or do you kind of see that being business as usual, something you haven't touched on yet? What does all that look like?
Yeah, we haven't even thought about that, but as the time comes, right? Like, this is what we get paid to do, so we got to do our due diligence and do our jobs, and we'll do everything we do the same way: recruit, call around, ask people, because we are probably a little bit unfamiliar. So, early on, there'll be some things that we're learning every time there's a new coach or new team in the league. Like, it's different than what it has been. So, you got to go back to some previous years or whatever. So it'll be a deep dive, but it'll be cool, right? It's some fun, it's new, so I'm looking forward to it.
Do you see the expanded Big Ten being an opportunity for Ohio State to potentially start recruiting more out, especially in California or out west, where you're able to open some doors? Or do you envision, obviously, Jake Diebler has had it's been imperative for him to go get talent in the state of Ohio, and Ohio has had very, very good talent in 2024, 2025, 2026. So do you see this changing recruiting at all with the Big Ten now adding these teams out west?
Well, I think Ohio State's brand can go anywhere. I think it's always been that way. So wherever there's a good player, obviously the state is very important to coach and our staff. So, but just in general, I think brand of Ohio State allows us to recruit anywhere. So, yeah, maybe it helps a little bit because if you come here, then you'll be able to get to go home, whether that's out west or on the East Coast. At the end of the day, anybody that can help Ohio State win is a good player for us. So wherever they're from is good. But I think like I said, just the brand of Ohio State allows us to recruit anywhere around the country.
Yeah, 100%. And let's kind of switch gears now to how this summer has been. So obviously you've had the chance to see practice. I'm sure you are participating in practice as much as you can to kind of get these guards ready to be roughed up again in the Big Ten. How has the summer been overall, and what stuck out to you?
I think this summer's been great. Guys have been working hard, competing, really working their tails off to just get better, right? And definitely at in this new day and age where we have a bunch of transfers and freshmen, so we're trying to integrate them into with the returning guys. So I think it's been really good. I think we've done a lot of things to get better. Obviously, we got a talented group, and I'm really excited about the team. Obviously, we got a long way to go. We still got some time before our first game, but I think we made progression from that first day to the last day of group workouts. So I'm really excited about the season, and I'm really excited to get going here in the next week when guys get back on campus.
Let's talk about maybe some individual players now that you've had the chance to see some of them. I think Junie Mobley is one that a lot of people are curious about. He's got the high pedigree coming out of high school. What have you seen from him, and what would you expect from him coming up for his freshman season?
Junie, I mean, that's just a dude who just loves the hoop, right? Like dude just loves basketball. So I think his energy, being a local guy, his ability to score, obviously, is really going to help us. And we're excited about Junie, right? He's been working hard. Obviously, he's a freshman, so it's going to be a learning curve for every freshman. But we're excited about him and what he can do, his ability to really shoot the basketball. So we're really looking forward to how Junie can fit and help us this year. So I'm excited about him. And I would say the rest of our staff is excited about him, and we look forward to him, showing everybody what he's capable of once season starts.
Quez Glover, another player who I would say is more polarizing at this point. A lot of fans aren't necessarily sure what to think about him. So, from your perspective, how should fans think about a player like Quez Glover fitting into the roster?
Quez just got here about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I actually took a vacation, so I wasn't around much when Quez got here. But
Okay.
obviously, he's been in college basketball. I think this will be his fifth season, so he's a veteran guard who just knows what college basketball is all about. And I think, having played over 100 games and some change or whatever, I think he'll be able to help us right away and bring that leadership and experience, to our backcourt. So we're excited about what Quez is going to be able to do for us. Been able to spend some time with us. I got back, great kid. And like I said, I think his experience, having played a ton of college basketball games, is going to really help our team.
When you watch a player like Bruce, obviously you know him well. Now you come in and you get the chance to coach and you get the chance to work with him and develop him and things like that. Are there things that you see in his game where you're like, man, I cannot wait to work with him this summer? And anything that you've focused on helping him improve or develop things like that in the couple months you've had to spend with him?
Yeah, I think Bruce has, first of all, had a first. I mean, his third team all conference, I believe, last year. He sat at first as a sophomore. So his career has been off to a good start. Obviously, winning, trying to get to NCAA tournament and winning the championship is very important to him. But it's always unique with someone like Bruce because I've been on the other side trying to figure out how to stop him and what maybe we can do that would not let him be effective in a game. So as someone on outside, I could come in and tell them like, hey, these are the things we kind of notice about you. On the other side, if we took this away or we did that, so then you can use those things to improve on, right? Obviously, we wouldn't, on the opposite side, we want him to be comfortable and do what he does. So Bruce is just a worker, man. That dude shows up every day wanting to get better. He's a sponge. Obviously, when you're a new coach, you're trying to build that relationship where you could talk to people and they believe in what you say. And from day one, he's just kind of been all ears to me trying to help him develop. get better. And I think he made great strides this summer. I think there's a lot of things, right? If you looked at Bruce, the way he started the past 2 seasons, and then maybe had a little bit of a tail off at the end, we're trying to figure out how we could sustain his success throughout the whole year and be more efficient. And because he's going to be a leader, right? He's one of the best guards returning in college basketball. So it doesn't get easier. It only gets harder. So he's been working and he'll be prepared. And I think he's going to have a great season for us and be an all-league player.
So sustained success is a focus. Have you spoken with him about, hey, here's how we tried to defend you at Northwestern. Here's how we've seen, from the perspective of trying to beat you. Here's how we've seen some ways that maybe we can beat you. So let's work on improving in these areas. Or do you focus more on, hey, here are your strengths. Let's get those even stronger?
Oh, what you said the first, like being on that side, and he knows it. He's a student of the game. He knows what people did and how they tried to defend him to slow him. So yeah, we had that conversation right away, and we started attacking it together. On just how to be productive and how to counter that. Because you're going to see all kinds of looks when you're at the top of the scouting report. So for him, it's just to keep getting better. Keep being efficient, and like I said, like starting the season the same way, just trying to finish the same way at the end, right? When we get late in the dog days of February, the Big Ten. So, but I'm excited, man. Like I said, that dude works. That dude works his tail off. He loves hooping. He loves getting better. He loves competing. From a leadership standpoint, I think he's taking great strides this summer. Just looking forward to the year he's going to have.
Let's talk about the meshing of a roster with a bunch of newcomers, brand new head coach, brand new coaching staff, all those types of things. What have been some of your favorite memories you've created thus far in the offseason in terms of off-the-court activities with the team?
I'd definitely say we did like a little paintball experience. It was like coaches and staff versus the players. That was a great time. Obviously, they got to hit us with paintballs probably for us making their practices hard and stuff like that. No, I'm just kidding. It was fun, man. It was just a time where, it's not players and coaches. It's just kind of a bunch of people out there having fun, being kids. Us included. So we had a good time. We spent a few hours out there together. Playing games and paintball. And I think when you do things like that, it accelerates that process of trying to get to know each other and seeing what people are like off the court, and not just coaches, but mentors and people that they can trust, right? Like off the court. So I think those experiences are big, especially when it gets to season, like I talked about, and you get in those moments where you want to look to the right and left and know that these guys got your back. So I think when you can do things like that and build those relationships, I think is really helpful once you get into the season.
So paintball has been mentioned a lot. I don't think I've actually heard who had more wins between the players and the coaching staff. So do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think the coaches won. Like I don't know if you talk to one of our guys and they try to lie, like they didn't win. The coaches won.
I mean, I see, this is the issue though. I can have a player on next week and they can say, yeah, the players won, and the coaches will probably say that they won. So I'll need proof from one side. I don't know if you can present that at all. But I don't know whose word to take for it at this point.
Just trust the coaches. You're good.
Okay. Let's talk about the approach to recruiting. This really interests me because, some programs out there will just offer as many players as they can. A lot of those offers are not necessarily committable. And it's hard to balance. You guys are going after the top talent, not just in the state of Ohio, but across the nation at this point. Some of the most highly coveted players in the nation in high school right now. How do you balance the maybe guys who are on that second tier for you, and you just kind of have to wait out where this top player makes his decision before you can kind of go in with this maybe a second type of tier player who you want to get, or are there even conversations like that and things just they work out very well regardless of what happens?
Yeah, I think you have to trust your eyes and all of that. And at the end of the day, a good player is a good player. If he can help Ohio State win, then they can help Ohio State win. So we just got to do our jobs, do our due diligence, recruit guys hard, and get them on campus, right? I think when even for myself, like I got on campus, saw how beautiful this place is, how special this place is. Uh, I think those are important things for us to just keep working, keep chipping away at it, and like you said, at the end of the day, the goal and objective is to get good players that can help Ohio State win, and that's what we're trying to do as a staff collectively.
Yeah, and I've shared on this podcast before. I've spoken with players who don't even have offers from Ohio State and are just saying, "Man, I hope they offer me so I can commit." I mean, culture at Ohio State has changed. People who do have offers at Ohio State are seriously considering, some of the top prospects in the nation are seriously considering Ohio State. So, as you line up the plan for the upcoming seasons, how do relationships develop? Because you're talking to these guys all year. So is it a matter of just doing a lot of listening and trying to position your program as, hey, this is a solution for you? Or what do the conversations look like month to month, year to year?
I think it depends. It depends on whatever the recruit or the coach. Everyone, I would say, does it a little bit different. But I just think at the end of the day, where the landscape of college basketball is changing, but the objective of building relationships and being mentors and helping young men grow to become not only great basketball players and great student athletes, but great young men and husbands and sons and all of that. To me, that has never changed. So building relationships and being genuine and just trying to be a place where kids can come, develop, like I said, and grow in all those areas of their life. And I think that's just trying to, like I said, build that relationship, the comfortability that when a recruit does leave home, they feel comfortable going to a place where it's extended family. And like I said, they can continue to grow in all those other areas in life and be the best version of themselves. So I think, I don't think it's any rocket science. I think it's just about working and doing your due diligence and building those strong relationships. And, like I said, for us, hopefully we're doing that right. And hopefully we can continue to get great players that help Ohio State win.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk the upcoming schedule. So it's packed, it's stuffed with really good teams in the non-conference. Obviously, the Big Ten is a gauntlet. Now, from my personal perspective, I'm not a part of the program, so I can say Campbell. I mean, yeah, we're obviously going to watch it, but I look forward to a Michigan and Auburn, a Texas games like that. Do you have games on the schedule that you're like, man, we're really going to focus on this, or are you, hey, it's next game mentality? These next games don't matter if we don't get the one that's right in front of us, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, for me, what I've come to realize, Ben, and especially in our league, is if you look at your schedule and you're like, hey, we got Purdue, Wisconsin, and Michigan State, and 3 game stretch, like it does you no good, right? You're gonna play against 3 great teams and 3 great coaches, and like for me, it's just the next game, right? Like you can't look too far. Just whoever's next on the calendar is what's important because that's who you got to beat, right? Like trying to look through a schedule and like, here's a pocket of this, that, and the third is I've come to realize like it's just going to stress you out. Like, so for me, I try not to get ahead of myself. Just look at the next opponent that we got and try to do everything we can to get our guys ready to win just that game. And then obviously, once that game is complete, then you turn the page. So for me, I try not to look down the line. Now I'm excited because we know the first game of the year is in Vegas against Texas, so we got a couple months to look forward to that one. So we're excited about that. But at the end of the day, like I said, as we get closer, we'll do some deep dive into what they're about and try to go to Vegas and get a win.
What does preparation look like for Texas? Rosters are set at this point, but you've got months before still you're going to play them. So do you kind of slowly ratchet up the focus on Texas, or is it kind of a week or two before the game you guys are starting to really prepare and be utterly focused on that next game?
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. Like whenever Coach Deebs is ready to jump into Texas, we'll jump into Texas as a staff. But we got some time. So right now, it's about our guys and pouring into them and getting those guys better. And then obviously, like you said, as we get closer to that game, I'm sure we'll start diving into what it's going to take for us to win that game.
New staff, new players, you're meeting a lot of new people. Have there been any connections you've made so far that you're really appreciating, whether it be player, coach, support staff, anything like that?
As a whole, man, I really like everyone, players and staffs alike, player and staff alike. Just great people, right? Like honestly, I truly feel that way, and I'm very happy with the decision I made to come here, and I think the people are kind of what make it great, right? In general, obviously, players, coaches, they've made my transition very easy and comfortable with my family as well. So uh, I'm. There's not one in particular that I can try to like point out. I just think it's just as a collective, I've really, really enjoyed the relationships that I've built so far in my time here.